Yo, what up, everyone? Today I'm just doing sort of a follow-up video to the update. This will be not just the patch notes, but rather playing the update content in game, and I'll also be addressing something that you may have missed. So stay tuned for that. And no, actually, I'll jump right into that. So first of all, as you know, there has been quite a few patches or quite a few updates in this recent patch. So first of all, we've got the whole hero area for all five continents. We also had some changes to the battlefield, mostly the rewards. We also got an expedition change. So first of all, you can only do 20 entries, and the boss is now the Wind Arachne instead of this evil man who everyone hated. Yeah, there's a few quests that have been added, and mostly in regards to the hero area. And of course, starting with what you may have missed, there is a new collection challenge, which I don't think was addressed in the note. It's called the Surprise Challenge here. It's pretty easy. You just have to collect a few regular crafting materials. I found that through regular gameplay, I already had all of these except the 20 catfish, which I just bought from the trade market for like 5,000. Uh, you can gather them or you can buy them, but keep in mind that buying them might uh, have a little price spike due to the collection challenge. So yeah, you can see the price is already up to 8.5 thousand. So uh, you can either use this to buy your way through the collection challenge, or you can actually go fishing for the catfish and earn quite a bit of money while people are still doing the challenges. And seeing as the price was 5,000, I believe it was 2 days ago, it looks like you can definitely sell it for somewhere similar easily. So you can get it from the Sakelo Canyon or the Sakal Desert, and you will need to use a live bait for it. So remember that fishing is AFK, so you can make use of that even if you are sleeping, for example, and wake up to like 300 catfishes and just sell them all to make a lot of money from the trade market. So yeah, the collection challenge is there. Also, I've tried testing the expedition awards as I was curious on how much they have changed after going from 50 entries to 20, and it looks like the rewards themselves are somewhat similar. The gold I found you get is around 30,000 in total. I've tested this for 20 runs, of course. I believe I received four of these transcendent materials in total. Of course, I'm talking about level 4 runs. I've received around 10 research logs, no skill books. I've received no legendary cores. I got, I believe, 3 or 4 magic cores and 2 legendary runes. So the drops don't seem to have changed too much. I've noticed that almost every run you will get a bonus item together with gold. So there's that. Yeah, next of all, I wanted to give my thoughts on the battlefield change. As you know, they modified the rewards a little bit, and essentially, I believe, yeah, you were able to get 10,000 sky stones for a victory, and somewhere in the ballpark of 3.5 thousand for a loss, I think, as the base reward. I think the gold did not change. I'm not sure about the victory seals. And basically, from what I've seen, I've played a few games yesterday and a few games right after the update drop. Uh, yeah, so for the winning team, in most cases, you will be looking at a lower amount of sky stones in general. But if you do play pretty well and either get a top 3 spot or the MVP, I found that the Skystone gains are a little bit higher actually. So essentially, they're pushing towards active contribution towards the team rather than just being on the winning team. And yeah, so definitely try to go for the win. Stop just going for purely for kills unless you are really trying to unlock these monthly rewards, as you will definitely be receiving a little more rewards if you go for the win instead. I found that previously, if you got, for example, a top 3 spot, so, well, let's say for me, I usually get either rank 1 or rank 2, but that's mostly because I just gather a lot and don't fight pretty much at all unless I'm attacked at the gathering spot. From what I found previously, I was able to get somewhere in the ballpark of 11 to 12,000 skystones per game, and this is for rank 1 or rank 2 finishes. Now that I found that the MVPs have a lot more impact, and I think the few people from my team in the games that I've played yesterday actually managed to get even 16 or 17,000 skystones. But of course they were rank 1, they had 2 MVP medals, so yeah, it looks like those MVP medals are really giving a lot of impact, and the rest of the team will get a little bit less skystones if they do not perform well. But as long as you have that well, not rank 3, but top 3 spot, as well as a medal or two, you will definitely go back to the original skystone gains, in my opinion. And for the losing team, it does not look like it affects the base skystones too much. And especially if you get a good top 3 spot or a few medals on your losing team, the skystone gains will jump up by a lot actually. Previously, I think you were getting for somewhere like rank 1, rank 2, and a medal in the ballpark of 4 to 4.5 thousand. Yesterday, I've seen that you are able to get 6 and even 7,000 for the losing team. As well as the victory seals, you can actually stack up quite a bit. I've seen you are able to get like 6 to 7. I think one person, the person who did rank 1 and 2 medals, actually got 9 victory seals. So definitely improve the rewards for participating actively. But if you are unable to get those top 3 spots or get the MVP medals, either for assist, for kills, or for gathering, you will see a little drop in the rewards on the losing team and a little bit higher drop on the winning team. But the rewards are definitely still pretty decent, I'd say. And yeah, other than that, I'll jump for the last part. I'll jump a bit more into the hero area overall and my thoughts on it, some stats that I'll show today, as well as what I'll show in a future video where I'll go more in depth on the amount of materials you can get from AFK farming, how much materials you get per hour, and stuff like that. So for the hero area, you unlock it by going through the what are called area exploration. In the Kaslan tab at the very bottom, you will be able to find the world of Fisher. These quests are super easy. You will just have to talk with a few NPCs and go to the portal. You do not need to fight anything to complete the whole story. And essentially the first piece of story will unlock the first region, the second story will unlock the second region, and so on for all 5 regions, and the final story will simply be the finisher towards the whole quest. After you are done with these, you unlocked all 5 hero areas, and you can find the rewards here. They don't differ too much. Each area has a decent chance to drop these magical room pieces. These 2 materials drop from mini bosses and the big bosses. So the big boss is the Baphomet, and it's present in each region. And you can essentially drop this altered letter from it. The mini bosses drop the tough letter, and mini bosses are way more often than the boss itself. I don't think I've seen a single boss out of a few hours of gameplay, so it's definitely pretty rare. The runes you get, as well as the rune crafting material you get, will also differ for each continent that you do. And I highly recommend that whichever continent you go for, you follow this area effect, as I found that it does have huge impact towards your damage. You might not have a lot of monsters for certain elements, for example, light and dark. I really struggled with getting a decent team for it. So my most farmed area so far is the Florence, as you can get a decent damage bonus from wind units, and I found that a team of Bastet, Wind Ifrit, and the Wind Marshal Cat is a pretty good starting point. And first of all, they do not die, meaning that you do not need any healers, and Bastet's shield placed in the Soul Link slot, and of course only with her Soul Link skill 2 activated, is more than enough to sustain your team. The drops you get for the magical rune pieces and gold I'll cover in another video, but in general this is definitely worth farming AFK. So for example, if you have the ability to leave it overnight, it's worth farming, and you will see a little bit of difference compared to the regular scenario mobs that you can get from here, for example. So if you farmed any of these, you definitely won't see much impact, but if you farm these, you can expect decent gold gains, as well as, I'll spoil it right here, a few legend runes per, well, not per day, but per night, for example. I know my AFK farming was like 6.5 hours, so I'll account that. I'll do another night, I think, and I'll see the stats tomorrow, and I'll try to summarize them in a video. But yeah, this is definitely worth farming AFK. The rune drops you get are random, but also they are pretty rare, so don't expect to get a lot of them. And basically, for the hero areas, you can either go for random mobs with the auto function, like I am doing right here. I think I'm in the first area right now. Yeah, so there is a light element buff, but unfortunately I don't have that many light units that I can use really. So I'm just using whatever, yeah, as you can see my light box is pretty much non-existent. So I'm just using whatever units I can. I found that the mobs are pretty hard, and if you do want to go full auto, you will need a healer for sure, as some mobs do quite a bit of damage. I found that so far, this team setup of Bastet's shields and Lulu heals is somewhat on the line of being able to sustain it decently. If I removed either the Lulu or the Bastet, I found that either the summoner or some of my units do die, so sustain is definitely needed, and you won't be able to go into the fight with 2 or 3 damage dealers like you could in the regular scenario. So yeah, if you do plan of going AFK, it's best to just go for a safer team and get a bit less rewards than have your team dying every few minutes and just missing out on a lot of those rewards. And yeah, lastly, you may not have known this, but there is a quest area here. So each region has 3 different weekly quests. And essentially, the first quest is just killing regular mobs that you will find on the map. This one's pretty easy, and you will be able to do it solo pretty well. It may take some time, as these mobs are a bit tanky, and I'd say each quest for me took like 10 to 15 minutes for the first one. Then the second weekly quest is actually fighting mini bosses. This one's a little hard, and I found that I could only do the, which one was it? I might have been the first one actually on, no, not this one, not this one. I did the second one. I did 2 of these solo, but the rest of the mini bosses are actually pretty hard to do on solo, and well, of course, unless you have a super OP team. I don't know if you could consider me OP. I'm currently sitting at, with my best team, like 440,000 power, so definitely decent progress, but definitely not in the top ranks there. But from what I've seen, the mini bosses are pretty difficult. We've done a party yesterday, and we were able to beat these 4 with a party of 3. I think we beat the Lich, the Guardian, and the Oka with 3 people. For Jaka, we needed a little more support, and I think there were like 6 or 7 of us because this guy actually heals a lot, and you simply do not have enough DPS to damage him consistently, so you will need more people. I'm unsure about the other mini bosses as I haven't really gone into a party to do them yet. I just sort of dabbled around with the regular mob drops or the stats that you get from them, trying to understand that, but these should definitely be possible with a few people, and you can, for example, organize a guild party or just cooperate with the world chat, see if anyone joins up. I think the lobbies are pretty popular so far, so if you are planning on taking mini bosses, stay in whichever channel you get put in automatically, as most of them will have like 10 to 15 people. Yeah, I can change right now. If you do want to farm regular creatures, of course, go to an empty channel, as you will find way more of them. And if you think you can take mini bosses by yourself, if you go to an empty channel, you will find a lot more mini bosses. You won't have to wait for them to spawn. And yeah, as for the last quest, this one I did not get a chance to fight yet, as I haven't actually even found one. So not sure how rare they are. However, based on the reward here, I can tell you that you're definitely not missing out on much, as these do drop from regular mobs, I believe. Let me just check that to make sure. Elite creature boss. Okay, so they might drop from the mini boss. So you might have to kill some mini bosses overnight if you manage to do that, especially in solo. If you find with a team, it will of course be easier, but most likely we'll be looking at solo play. However, if you cannot do that quest, definitely do not worry, as I found that it is, well, the item you get there, so the special rune stone, it's definitely not that important. The main thing it's used for is crafting a specific rune. So for example, for Enduron, you need 25 of these fire ones and 25 of these purple ones. For example, a different rune will require different colors. It's definitely not important unless you do want to get a few of those runes, but rest assured that you can still use your rune pieces and still craft your runes. You can just do this random rune, and you can do it an unlimited amount of times. Of course, it will cost a little bit more pieces, so like the magical rune pieces, but not having to farm these will actually save you a lot of time, and you can just go for crafting these runes, which I think will be more than enough for most people, unless you are really focusing on getting that specific rune. But even then, if you are going for a specific rune, you might as well just go for the Path of Growth and try to get those runes here. So yeah, my thoughts on Hero Area, definitely pretty interesting content and something to finally farm AFK, as the scenario monsters were really not appealing with their 4 or 5 gold drops, and these monsters actually have a chance to drop like up to 120 gold or so. It's not a 100% chance to drop that gold, but it's definitely not too rare, and you can get a decent amount of money overnight. It won't be millions, I'll spoil that, but yeah, I'll cover the exact stats of how much I got over 2 nights, in either tomorrow or the day after. And yeah, other than that, I hope you're enjoying the update, and see you in the next one.